What about, for some people, maybe just trying to just take their shoes off when they can? And this would obviously be for somebody who's not in tons of pain, but would that maybe be a good place to start? Is like you don't know what shoe to order. You don't want to maybe risk ordering it online and getting the wrong size, because a lot of these shoes, they fit way better than like most people are wearing shoes that don't fit them properly.
True.
I think most people are walking around with shoes that don't fit them properly. And when you start to get like a 5-finger toe shoe, or like you get ultras or something, you're going to find out quickly that you're probably a much different size in those shoes than you probably thought. So do you think, just for some people that are listening, just maybe a quick thing for some people to explore is just, I don't know, see if you can do more stuff, maybe barefoot or just in your socks or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I actually recommend doing that before, even if you are ready to go out and purchase. I say just wait a little bit and start doing what you can at home and figure out if being barefoot is really uncomfortable for you, then that's maybe a sign that you can't just jump right into it. Or if you do, say you want to just get those Vivo barefoot shoes, then be aware that you're not going to go out and wear them all day on the first day. You might wear them for 20 minutes and then switch to your others. So I say, see how you feel barefoot before you buy shoes, because that's going to kind of guide you on the type of shoe you want to get first. But also, it's just so good for you. And even if you are in pain, I mean, I think you should be careful. I don't think that you should hurt yourself. But if your feet are in pain in shoes, you might be surprised at how they feel when you're barefoot on grass or in like sand, because you have all this nerve stimulation. You don't have to go run on it. Just walk in a circle for a few minutes, or even just stand there, listen to a song and just like wander around a little bit on the grass. And that might actually bring relief. So I definitely recommend it. Be safe though, mind your environment. Some people, if you have diabetes or neuropathy, then you want to be really careful about those types of things, because if you get a cut, it could be pretty serious.
Yeah.
So definitely, everybody needs to take the control over those types of things. But if you can, if it's safe for you, then yes, by all means, like as much as you can. And then if it starts to hurt, then, fine, go inside, put some shoes on. That's totally fine. You got some exposure, your feet got stimulated, and that is going to bring more blood flow. It's going to tell your body it's okay. It's going to send signals to lay down more tissue. So like you can get more calluses, and not like the kind of like the gross peely kind, but like a thick uniform. Like my feet don't have individual calluses in specific spots. The whole bottom is just thicker skin. And it's like healthy tissue. It's not dead skin. And when you walk barefoot, you actually, over time, your body starts laying down more tissue there. And then you become more comfortable barefoot. And it's just kind of like this cycle where you start it and then you can build up. And it does take time. Like, I've been walking barefoot for years now. And this year I'm like, damn, my feet, I really love, like, I'm like walking on, like some hard stuff. And that's taken me, 6 years.
Yeah.
Your feet look really nice. I should comment on that. Yeah, they do. Like your toes are wider than your actual. Yeah, your toes are wider than your actual foot. Do you think that that's a goal for a lot of people? Is that like what it should? I know we're all a little different, but like, should our toes be splayed out wider than our actual foot? Or even with it or so?
And before, was your foot different? Like, did you have that toe splay that you kind of have now, or was it similar?
So I'll answer your question first, Nsima. My feet were never, I didn't have bunions or hammer toes. So it's true that my toes were straight before, but they were never splayed out. So the angle was straight, and then now it's angled out. So I've got like a fan shape. But the main difference between my feet now and then is the strength, which I could pull up later if you want me to show you a photo that I have from 2018, and then I compare it to now, and it's like a foot that hasn't worked a day in its life versus a foot that's been working out in the gym, like wow. Just the, like my,
look at that foot.
my toes were thinner. Everything was kind of like thinner, looked not so muscular, and now they do. So that's the biggest difference for me. I didn't correct bunions or hammer toes. So that's a little bit of a different thing. Some people who come with that might not see as much of a change. You can affect that. You can have your toes splay out depending on how advanced your bunion is, but you might always have a little bit of a protrusion there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pat Roger family, how's it going? We talk about sleep all the time on this podcast. That's why we partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. Now, this mattress is the Tesla of sleep. It's the Tesla of beds. Its technology tracks your heart rate variability. It changes its own temperature based off the way you sleep so that you get better sleep every single night. It is quite literally insane. Check them out. Andrew, how do they get it?
Yes, and before I do that, I wanted to let you guys know that you can actually set the bed to wake you up silently. I know that sounds weird, but actually the bed starts vibrating around your head and it doesn't wake up the entire household the way my phone used to do back in the day. So now I just kind of have the bed wake me up silently, and it's amazing. You guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/power project. That's EIGHT sleep.com/power project. When you guys go there, you'll see a banner across the top saying that you're going to receive $150 off automatically. So again, that's 8sleep.com/power project to receive $150 off your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
Flip-flops are a little bit of a lazy thing, right? I don't think you promote just regular old flip-flops, right? Because I think some people listening might be like, oh, it's summertime, I'll just jump in my flip-flops.
Yeah, so flip-flops are a deceptive minimalist shoe because people think of them as a minimalist shoe, but the problem is that they don't stay on your feet well.
Yeah.
So they flop around and people will push their big toe down in order to keep it. So if someone's running in flip-flops and you record them in slow motion, you'll see that they are holding the flip-flop to their foot with their big toe. But if you run barefoot, then your toes go up and down. They move. And you can't do that in a flip-flop.
What you have in this video, I really hope people watch the visual of this podcast because we have tons of shoes on the table. And in this video, we're watching somebody walk with flip-flop, and
That's her.
right away you see the inside ankle bone roll kind of low, which we just had a whole podcast talking to our GOTA friends about that. And I think it's pretty agreed upon that's not a great way to walk, to kind of walk off the instep of your foot, especially if you're somebody like what I always recommend is, people might be like, I'm fine, I don't have any symptoms. And if you don't have any symptoms at the moment, then maybe you are okay. But if you're somebody that has knee pain, or somebody that has pain in the hips and pain in the lower back, please listen to some of these messages that we have. They can be really powerful for you. Yeah. Finding a right shoe to fit is a really tough thing for some people. And I think what makes it hard is when you go to, you go to like a department store or something like that, you go to a sporting goods store, the shoes that we're looking at oftentimes are too narrow for us. So a lot of times, I don't know if Nsima's done the same thing, but I'd always just get like a full size bigger of a shoe. And I was like, well, no big deal. Like, it doesn't fit that good, but I don't care. At least I got some space. So luckily for me, I wasn't really in any sports that required me to wear anything like really form-fitting and tight as I got older. I was just a power lifter, so I'd always walk around with my shoes untied the way I had these untied today to leave some extra space for my fluffy foot. And I'd always get like one shoe size bigger, and that was to try to help with the width of my foot. One of the problems was, though, is that I would develop calluses that were painful, or like a corn or something stupid like that in these weird areas because the shoe didn't fit me properly. Like the curve of the shoe and stuff like that was in a slightly different place than where it should be. And then I would get like friction, and it would start to rub, and I would be in tons of pain. I'd be in so much pain that sometimes I'd be on a walk and it would almost bring me to my knees. I was like, and it's hard to describe, but it felt like somebody pushing a pin very aggressively into like the side of my foot. And then it would go away, so I could like deal with it. I could manage it and get my walks in. But man, I was in a lot of pain for a long time. And as I started finding shoes that fit better, that had a wider toe box, I mean, the first thing I did is I went to just wider shoes. But for some reason, I was having a lot of problems with those too. Those weren't working. And I needed a shoe that was designed completely differently. So how does somebody start to find a shoe that's going to fit them better?
it is really hard to walk into a department store and find a shoe that's going to fit. And that's just kind of the sad state of shoes right now. And I think it's just kind of a combination of fashion and just where the market went. And now nobody's used to shoes that work for feet. So it just keeps going that way. That's what factories are used to making. That is the biggest challenge, is just practically what do we do next now that we know that this shoe is like symmetrical and pointy and it has a huge heel and it's stiff, and that's not good.
Yeah.
I think that knowing what you are looking for in a shoe, yeah, exactly. Case in point.
These hurt really bad. And it looks wide at the bottom, It kind of looks wide.
Wide here.
Yeah.
But then it still comes to a point there.
Yeah, and your toes are all squished in. They suck. These are a pair of Nike Air Max, whatever the hell they are.
The Nike casts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think just firstly, understanding what you're looking for in a shoe is probably the most powerful thing you can do, because marketing will throw you around if you let it. And there might be companies in the future and I've seen it a little bit, who start adopting some of this language, barefoot shoes, zero drop, etc. And you have to know whether or not they actually are good for you on your own. And if you are looking for a thin shoe that's flat, or as flat as possible, you can kind of feel it with your hands inside, check under the insole, see if there's a raised, like a little wedge, or if the insole has a cushion on it. You can go into a department store or to Target or Walmart or a thrift store. I've done this in a thrift store. And you can just start mashing on the shoes and seeing if they bend and seeing if they're flat, and then checking out the shape, see if it will fit. If you're going to go that route, then it is a little bit harder, and you are going to want to go for materials that's kind of stretchy and soft, like leather can be stretched, or mesh. The other option is to go for barefoot shoes that are marketed and branded as barefoot shoes. And then that's a little easier, because you know that they are going to meet some minimum criteria. They're going to be zero drop, which means totally flat from heel to toe, and they're going to not have arch support, and they're going to have a mostly anatomical foot shape. So there's a spread, though. Some of them are huge and some of them are kind of more relatively narrow, but they should all at least not come to a point. So they should allow for some more space for the outer toes. So that's kind of where my whole work came in, was because I realized how hard it was to find these types of shoes. And it is a barrier, it's more challenging to order online and to not know for sure if they're going to fit, and to have to worry about returning them, especially some of these brands are overseas. And so it is a challenge. So I have spent a lot of time researching the options there, so I can say, okay, compromise shoe or accidentally minimalist shoe that might be more approachable for you, or minimalist but has some cushion, or extremely minimal and huge toe box for like the purists out there with wide feet, to help kind of guide people so that they're not just like ordering and returning and then giving up because it feels overwhelming.
Pat Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.